Welcome along the African Renaissance TV from wherever spatially you are watching us from. This is Africa in Sports and I am Mohamed Bibaji. Well, this is a sport discussion to bring you all the nitty-gritties of in the world of sports, especially here in the African perspective and most especially on the African Cup of Nations that is ongoing at Cote d'Ivoire. But here with me I have an enthusiasm, a sport lover, and someone who will help me in analyzing games after games after games. He is no other person but my very own colleague here, Mr. Mohamed M. Sediba, who wouldn't want me to introduce him, but I would definitely go on to introduce him. Sediba, welcome on the African Sports.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's great that we are back again. From the last analysis where we analyzed the first 4 games. That is from Group A, Group B, and Group C. And today we are here to analyze another Group C game, that is, of course, Gambia and Senegal.
Well, that is the Senegambian derby. It is a game that anyone would really love to watch again. But this has ended in favor of Senegal, and it has been a huge loss from the Gambia. This has been a poor start to start their campaign of the African Cup of Nations. 3-0. Well, what is your impression of that?
Well, in general, I was somehow impressed about the game of the boys. They've played a very good football. Even though there are some mistakes that are made here and there that have of course bad starts of the game. It's a great game all in all. They played a very wonderful game. But as we all know, football is about winning. If you don't win, then you don't play a good game.
Well,
of course.
Okay. From the Gambia's perspective, I could be said that they were a man down by the end of the game, and then that might be what really led to that dramatic loss. But then let's go deeper into this game. What was the style of play that you observed of the Gambia?
Well, I think it's an impressive game that they've played. Like, looking at the previous games of the Gambia, everybody have been complaining that the coach have been playing, of course, a defensive football. But in this Afcon, the first game we have seen, he has a little bit change.
Well, it's a balance.
Yeah, a little bit change in his tactics. He only bring in defensive football when we had a man down, and then that's very understandable considering the fact that Senegal is a powerful nation. When it comes to football, and in fact they are the defending champions. It means
that means a lot.
That's a very good.
If I may come in here, like, it has always been a general observation from some part of the media, especially if you want to be straightforward, that when you look at the Gambian coach Tom, when it comes to playing against teams that he thinks is balanced enough, well, he goes with a 4-5-2. Other times we've seen him playing like a 4-3-3 rather. Like, if he wants to attack, he comes with a 4-3-3. If he wants to defend, he comes with a 5-3-2. A 5-3-2, where he congregates everything in the midfield and then go with a lone attacker or lone striker. So what was that going to work against Senegal to overload the midfield with let's say a 5-man midfield?
Yes, that should have been in fact it was the game plan.
That was the game plan.
It was the game plan, and it's a very good game plan per se, because Senegal, as I said earlier, it's a very powerful footballing nation. They are the defending champions of this Afcon, and they are all out to defend this champion. So it's a good tactic that Tom played, and then I think credit should be given to him. Kudos to Tom for that wonderful decision that he have made. I think there are a little bit mistakes that have been made. If you look at the first goal of the Gambia, of Senegal, of course, it was a backflip, a header
by the captain.
By the captain. I think when you're playing, I think the captain have made a little mistake in that person. It's not little because it's
well, it cost us a game, like an initial goal.
And a first goal is very dangerous. It can kill the morale of the people. It can kill the spirit, and of course, it also gives the power to the opponent, to be able to press harder. So that header, I believe Umar Colley should have heading outside.
If as a defensive player, if you are heading at a blind spot that you don't know who is behind you, well, the safest thing could have been to go for
a corner kick also.
A corner. In fact, the corner could have gone away. Sure. But then, if I am to come here, like Senegal previously, they are the champions. They've won the previous Cup of Nations. But then they were like somehow going with an aging team. But this year we've seen that the youth are dominating. Even though we still have the likes of Sekou Kouyaté, Idrissa Gana Gueye, and then Kalidou Koulibaly. But we've seen that Gana Gueye has not played, Sekou Kouyaté has not played. They have a midfield of very young and very talented young players.
Yeah, Senegal.
They have a future in football.
Senegal have really a great future in football. Looking at the squad that Senegal have this year, it's they have a very young team. They have a young team, with few players that are, that are aging, like the likes of Kalidou Koulibaly you've mentioned, and also Sadio Mane and the like, But then the likes of Lamine, Camara, and of course Gueye, Jackson. They are young players that are doing very well when it comes to football.
Talking of young players, the Gambia can boast of one, Mintel Yankuba.
Yeah. Minke, for me personally, Minte was my man of the match. Even though people have given it to Baboucarr Gueye, considering the saves that he has made in that game. But for me, Minte was so powerful in the forward. He was able to disturb the defense.
He was technically the only ball carrier. He was able to take on players. So he had, even though Gambia was a man down, Minte was able to attract 2-3 players, and then that gave us a couple of chances that Barrow or Badamosi or Ali Sow could have capitalized on. But that is important. The game is gone and then lost against Senegal 3-0. And then Gambia has to look at the next game coming, that is against Guinea. What must they do differently? What tactics must Tom employ this time to have positive results?
I think Tom should go with the 4-4-2. That is the attacking, with a 2 striker, and of course, having the defensive with the 4 defensive, and also we have 2 midfielders, then we have 2 strikers, and then the 2 flanks. I think that would be a very good game plan for against Guinea.
Okay.
We should attack. Of course, we should attack and also be mindful of our defensive, because looking at Gambia's game, we defend and also we concede goal. That's the problem with our defense. We defend, and then we concede an early goal. Looking at our qualifiers, most of our goals that comes in are early goals. Even though we play defensive football, but we concede early goals, and then those are determined there. Even our last game against Senegal, this game that we are analyzing on Senegal, we considered the first goal was very early. That was 4 minutes.
So from the analysis perspective, those goals were avoidable goals that the Gambia could have won without.
Especially the recent one, it's an avoidable goal, because looking at the goal scorer was he was free. Everybody was focusing on Sadio Mane when he got the ball, and then we have.
Maybe that is a tactical tweak by Aliou Cissé, the Senegalese coach. He's known for his tactics. Having Mane to be a distractor where that creates like space in the midfield or the center of the 18-yard box, which was a dangerous zone.
I think this is a trend in African football. Whenever a star player is playing, most of the focus is on that player.
That person.
That's the nature of our football. From childhood, from the grassroots football, people are focusing on the star player to make sure we seize that person from playing, because we believe if the person played, then that means they will win the game. So I think that's it's a trend in Africa. Looking at even all the previous games, if you look at whenever the star player is removed, that's the time the team in fact played. For example, if Sadio Mane is not playing, we understand that Senegal played very, very well when Sadio Mane is not playing. If you look at the last Afcon.
Not all teams can be carried by a single person. But I like that perspective.
So when a star player is playing, it's
MB Lions, that lion. Boys all barreta, now wali so to allow. Game on the boys all, you'll want to be allowed. Can be a that lion, we are in together forward, we gon' make it trophy. Got too much charm, I'm in chatting the Babu got food, got kept my run. Samba said it. Jatola Mati, Gambia and Lion, we got them together. Ole, 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 Gambia and Lion. Ole, 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 Kemola boys, ole. It's spirit, keep it, it's spirit, Jabu Kucha, Charlie, Charlie Dima, Charlie fella banta Gambia dot lion. Ole, 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 Gambia dot lion. Ole, 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 Kebola boys ole. Feel like I know, boys all man to long. Feel like I know, boys all man fe along. Bidding full on ya muda ya di striker la. Striker ya sko uro kuma da salti so no. Ole, 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 Gambia dot lion. Ole.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is African Sports, coming away from the African Renaissance team. This African Sports program is brought to you in partnership with the Gambian Lions FC, a team that is flying, a high flyer in the second division of the Gambian League. Coming to the analysis column here, we are looking at the Guinea Equatorial against Guinea-Bissau, a match that ended 4-2 in favor of Guinea Equatorial. That has been a huge game for Guinea, especially Equatorial, who are now in possession of 4 points, and then on top of Group A against where that contains giants such as Nigeria and the host nation, Ivory Coast. How do you rate Guinea Equatorial now?
I think Guinea Equatorial have been playing a very good game. Having their first game against Nigeria, they are able to, to share the points with Nigeria. Like we mentioned in the first game. Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Of course, one of the leading footballing nation when it comes to African football.
Of this generation.
So Equatorial Guinea have been playing a very good game, since the beginning of the Afcon, this year's Afcon. And then they are able to, to stop Nigeria, where they share the points. Both teams go home with 1-1 points. Having one goal, draw. So their last game, that is against Guinea-Bissau, it has been a great game. Both teams have shown great performance. Looking at the possession, where Equatorial Guinea had 51%, and then Guinea-Bissau were able to secure the 49% of the possession. So it has been a great game. A game that has been very thrilling, of course. A very good game for both teams, and I believe Equatorial Guinea are doing well.
Well, they are doing well, and then they've suddenly emerged as group toppers, or in the apex of that group, which is a quite impressive feat, considering the fact that we have Nigeria and then the home nation, Cote d'Ivoire, in it. And is it an advantage that Guinea Equatorial has, that they are operating or they are playing without any key personnel in terms of big names such as Victor Eseme of Nigeria, or we can talk of Nicolas Pepe of Cote d'Ivoire, and then so much other, Mohamed Salah of Egypt, Sadio Mane of Senegal. Is that a strength that that is coming out from them?
I think that's a good strength that Equatorial, if that's the strength that they are going with, it's a good strength that they are trying to capitalize on. Like I mentioned earlier on, having a star player is a good one, because they bring experience, and of course they bring good moral for the team. They're able to boost the moral of the players in the team. But then, in African context, it serves as a distraction most of the time. It serves as a distraction to both the opponent and of course the team. Most of the time, if you look at if you are following the trend of African football, you will understand that most of the star players are serving as a distraction for their team, because most of the players will be focusing on having them being protected in a sense, both not only having been injured also, but then having the good name that they are always looking for. Like Egypt will always want Mo Salah to score, so that he can still have that good good name that he has in the game of football. And also like Nigeria for Victor, and of course Senegal for Sadio Mane and all that. So I think it's a good one that Equatorial Guinea is playing with an average team. Average team in the sense that they are star players, of course, but then not up to the level of the players that we've just mentioned here. So it's a good strength if they are focusing on that.
Well, talking of strength, there is no better strength than having a whole 3 points against your opponent, and then being leaders of a whole group in terms of Group A. Well, if we have to shift our focus now to Nigeria, Nigeria had been held to a draw in their first game, and then was there a pressure on Nigeria? Was there more pressure on Nigeria rather than Ivory Coast in their game?
Yes.
Was Nigeria drew their first game?
Yes, most definitely. Ivory Coast will have a pressure of the fan, but then the pressure of losing is more on Nigeria than Ivory Coast, because Ivory Coast were able to win their first game. They were able to win their first game, and then Nigeria, having being the giant of Africa, draw against Equatorial Guinea is a pressure of its own. it's a pressure of its own in the sense that Nigeria, Nigeria is a country that has a lot of football lovers. When you are counting football lovers in Africa, Nigeria will be, in the first.
Well, I will tell you, this is outside of Africa. You go to Europe, go to England, for instance. The Nigerian population in terms of footballing personnel are huge. The footballing connection that Nigerians have outside of Nigeria is huge, and this is coming on. But then they have 4 points, and then they are coming on 7. But if you have to take a quick one, who would you suggest who would you see going through this group A as first and second?
As it stands right now, based on the performance that I've seen, I believe Ivory Coast will be Ivory Coast and Equatorial Guinea. I will give it to Ivory Coast and Equatorial Guinea.
What? Ivory Coast, I'm taking that because they are the home nation.
Yes, of course, they are the home nation, and then they have that that advantage. Like I said earlier on, Ivory Coast have that advantage over other teams. Anything that they are playing, they will have more fun. They will have more fan base, they will have more fanfare and all that. So they have everything that they need to be able to to get out of this group stage.
Well,
I believe they will.
That is quite a feat, and now we are hopeful that Guinea Equatorial can come up with a good performance in the next game just to secure all the important points in terms of qualifying, if not as a group leaders, but then as runners-up of the group. And they are standing in a very good pedal right now, and that will be a good thing for them. But before I want to sit on to Group B or to another group first. Who is your star player of the tournament at this stage of the tournament?
At this stage, I would not be biased. It would not sound like biased.
You wouldn't come up with a Gambian name, no.
Of course. It's obvious.
Okay.
Personally, I think Minte has been great. Personally, I will give it to Minte. He has been doing great. He did great in the Champions League, and of course, he's doing great in the Afcon. I think, for me personally, I think he has my catch.
Well, young Minte, he is famously known in the Gambia as Messi. He is a skilled player who is not afraid to take on any centre back or any defensive player. And then he is someone to look out for in the future, not just in the Gambia but in the African context. And then someday he will blossom into the European context like he is, and then we're hoping he will be a star player for not just country but the country and the club too. But I want to shift our attention now. Egypt of Mohamed Salah, Ghana of Mohamed Kudus. How was that game? Well, it was all squad by the end of the 90s.
Yes, that game was fantastic. It was a thrilling one where very fantastic game, of course. Very entertaining. We've seen Kudus coming into the game, and then he scored for his country. It's a great one. Kudus is a very.
Well, I think Ghanaians are living what West Ham fans have been living all along. He has quick feet. He has a very tenacious feet that can score against any goalkeeper, and he has shown that process.
Really, Ghana and Egypt are of course big footballing nations when it comes to Africa. Having Egypt as the most successful team when it comes to Afcon, they win 7 trophies. Of course, the first and only to have done it in 3 consecutive
yes.
And then last year also they have been the last Afcon, of course, not last year. They've been the runner up for the Afcon. So they are looking up to going into the
finals again.
The finals again, but then it has not been as smooth as it was. But they've drawn their first game and drawn the second games, even though they sit at the second of the of the table, but with just 2 points. So it was quite an interesting game, and then looking forward for the next game for both teams.
Well, yes, so that was a good point from Ghana against Egypt. But now we have to proceed to one of my favorite teams of the tournament so far, Cape Verde against Mozambique. Cape Verde have won 3-0, and then they are with a 6 point. How massive is that for them?
Cape Verde, I think they are the element of surprise of this tournament. They came up and then win their first game, against a giant, and of course they win again with 3 goals. It's great. They played very, 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 very good football in their first game, and then they played also as a very good game in their second game where they win 3-0. That's a hit.
Can you see Cape Verde as a finalist in this competition?
I'm not seeing Cape Verde as a finalist only. I'm seeing them as champions.
Oh, of course, Cape Verde have been your favorite now.
Cape Verde for now, they have been my favorite for the tournament. Looking at how things are unfolding. They are playing good football. It's not like they're just being fortunate to score goals, but they play good football, and they have possession. They have shots on targets, and of course they score. They capitalize on the shots that they have. Like having played with their first team, they have few shots on the target, but they were able to translate those shots on target onto goals. So that's what is important, to be able to translate your shots into goal. That's what is important. Cape Verde have been doing this. They have possession. They are playing very good football. And then it's entertaining, and then I believe they have the potential to go up to lifting the trophy.
Well, the African Cup of Nations
Well,
is a nice thing.
I've seen the first trophy for Cape Verde.
It's a nice competition, especially right now if you are from Cape Verde or if you are a supporter or lover of this Cape Verde national team playing as high flyers with 6 points currently. But I want us to take a quick break, but before we go into this, we still have to remind our viewers that this program is brought to everyone watching us right now by the Gambian Dutch Lions FC, a team that is played in the second division of the Gambian League. But we'll take a short break, and from there the conversation continues again. Welcome back again. This is Africa in Sports, coming away from the African Renaissance TV. If you have not subscribed into our channel, please do subscribe into our channel to have more interesting programs and episodes of the Africa in Sports coming away from us here. I am Mohamed Bibaji, and then my co-panelist here on analysis of the African Cup of Nations games here is also Mohamed M. Sediba. Well, he would always want to be called Mohamed Mustafa Sediba, but he's Mohamed M. Sediba. And now I want us to shift our focus on the last game of the round. I mean, for us here, that is Cameroon versus Senegal. It's a giant game that has ended in the favors of our very own neighbors here, Senegal, with 3-1 against Cameroon. How would you say that? What is Senegal up to? Are they going on to a back-to-back here?
I think Senegal is, yes. I think Senegal are showing us the face of the champions. They have showing the whole world that they are back to defending the champion that they secured in the last Afcon. So they are playing a very good game. Scoring goal. Having their first game, of course, against the Gambia, winning 3 goals, and this time around 3 goals again. So we having the Taranda Lions facing the Lions of Cameroon, and then they are able to win the Lions of Cameroon for 3 goals to 1. It has been a great game.
Indomitable Lions. So this is a class of lions, if you like to call it. But then, whenever there is a class of lions, a lion must come as a winner. So Senegal have 3 of them, 6 points, and then they are the leaders of the group as it stands. What does that mean for the likes of the Gambia?
I think Gambia still has a chance of qualifying into the round of 16. Looking at the point that they have, the point difference that they have against the 2 other teams that are in the group. Having Cameroon, with 1 point, after 2 games. After having Guinea that we're facing in the next game. Having 1 point also after a game. So it means we have just one point difference with both the teams. So winning against Guinea is a good.
Well, that will leave us to 4 points, and then second.
3 points to second, of course. And then having
3 points, definitely.
Yes, and then having a draw with Cameroon would be good for us in the last game.
Well, yeah, already looking up to a draw against Cameroon and a win against Guinea. But it will be a difficult game for the Gambia. The Gambia playing against Guinea. This is a team of almost equal caliber if they are not on top. So who has to lose the most to lose? Is it Gambia or Guinea? Who is this game a must win for?
It's a must win for both the teams. It's a must win for both the teams. But I think Gambia, it's way bigger for Gambia than for Guinea, because if Gambia have to lose this game today, it means they have to come back. Personally, I believe they have to come back.
Because you're not seeing Gambia winning against Cameroon.
Most definitely. So I think the only thing we need to do is to be able to attack Guinea. If we attack, and I believe we will be able to score. These are teams that we win. This is a team that we win in the last Afcon. We win them 1-0.
Well, yes.
Having Ablai Jallo back. Ablai Jallo scored the goal against Guinea in the last Afcon. So having him back is also another moral booster for the Gambia. Because he's a very good midfielder for the Gambia that has been doing great.
Well, if from your observation, what has been the problem for the Gambia? Is it that midfield battle, or is the attacking battle that they are lacking?
I think we are lacking the midfield. The midfield there, I think I'm not seeing the a good combination in
Is Gambia missing Suleiman Mara?
Definitely, we are missing Suleiman Mar. I think I'll have to take my word back.
I'm saying this because you did mention that Suleiman
I think I'll have to
without enough minutes in his legs to be able to play.
Yes.
But then for his experience, then his strength that he brings onto the ball, the discipline that he brings in terms of tackles, in terms of balls recovery, he's not a match to the likes of Ibrahim Adabo or Alassane or any other person that you can have in terms of defensive.
Ibrahim Adabo is a good player, but I think for this Afcon he has been a little bit slow. Right now we don't need that energy. We need a very fast midfielder that will be able to defend and also attack. So Suleiman Mara is that midfielder that we are really missing. I think the Gambia is missing Suleiman Mara in that midfield.
Well, the Gambia has to do a lot to win, and then I'm sure Gina will have something to say about that. Whatever Gambia must do, Gina is also equally prepared to see. But then let's get your final predictions on the teams that will go out of this league as the first and second.
Well, to be factual, what is in my heart for now, I believe Senegal and then of course Senegal and Cameroon will leave the group.
You are leaving the Gambia out.
Yes.
Gina is not qualified.
It's not to be biased, but I think Senegal and Cameroon will be heading to the round of 16.
Well, we are not taking that from you. Well, everyone is taking that from you, not from me. Well, yes. So that is quite important. I mean, those predictions. Let's see that Gambia is hopefully that you are wrong by the end of these 3 games. But
I pray that I'm wrong, but that's my prediction for now.
Well, it's a prediction. Everyone has the right to make anyone favorite that you have. But we are going to cut this discussion short from here. But this analysis continues from other games that are coming. In order to have a real first-hand information on the games that have gone, and their analysis, summaries, goals, and reactions from coaches and players, as well as tactical analysis of all games. African Renaissance TV is through the African Sports program that is powered by the Gambia Vs FC will be here. I have been Mohammed B. Baji, and then my co-analyst here, a special advisor, a special presenter, if you like to call it, also is Mohammed M. Sediba, has been here with me. And on the camera we have Master Mohammed Lee. Well, you have Mohammed here for the whole show, except for our technical advisor here, who is with a different name. But we are going to cut this short from here. Do keep us subscribe into our channels, follow to get more interesting programs and episodes coming your way from the African Renaissance TV. For now, this is all we have for you.